Our civilization is electrical. The AI is intensely electrical. As it diffuses into all aspects of our lives, it demands more and more power. That power has three sources: fossil, fission, and fusion. Fossil is petroleum, fission is reactors, fusion is the sun. Each of these are connected to the data centers by wire, usually aluminum cables strung between towers. Thousands of miles stretched over the face of the country. The wire is terminated at each end with massive transformers. But this arrangement is more than a way to distribute electrical power. It's an antenna fused by transformers at both ends. This antenna is an inadvertent way for the power grid to absorb an electromagnetic pulse. There are two possible sources for EMP, one natural and the other man-made. An EMP is a pulse from a nuclear source. A nuclear explosion in the ionosphere will generate a wavefront of millions of volts. The other source is the sun. Both means have been demonstrated. They're not theoretical. The first time people strung wire on poles across the countryside was in the 1850s, not to distribute electrical power. Electric power back then was batteries. These wires were for telegraphic communications, but the hundreds of miles of wire strung across the land constituted an antenna too. The EMP came in 1859 via a coronal mass ejection, a CME. Plasma hitting the ionosphere, sent from the sun a couple of days earlier. The shock wave sent a wavefront. The shock sent a wavefront, a pulse of voltage toward the ground. The voltage induced current into the telegraph lines. 100 years later, humanity imitated nature. A nuclear blast in the ionosphere 600 miles west of Hawaii affected power distribution on the island. We have seen this present civilization created the conditions for collapse. The house of cards grows. More dependence on AI, growing reliance on electric vehicles, plus a million other uses for electrical power. An event on the sun or a bad actor on the earth and our house of cards comes tumbling down. The voltage induced into the long wires will fry transformers. They'll become the blown fuses. They're not easily or quickly replaced. Not in days nor in weeks, not before civilization shows fractures and becomes chaotic. Should that happen, we'd be unable to ask the AI for reinsurance. It would be in a coma for a long time. When it was back on and the lines in online and our phones working again, we'd ask, "What happened?" It might answer, "You built a delicate structure, the house of cards, knowing a strong gust of wind was possible and in fact inevitable. You stupid humans." Well, the AI might say the last part, calling us stupid, but it wouldn't need to. Obviously, our structure, our lives, our civilization, our societies, based on a flimsy system. We do this, and at the same time, we engineer the system's quick destruction. Not very smart. Intelligence isn't needed to see the stupidity. AI may or may not know that human intelligence is often overruled by human emotion, arrogance, and complacency. If we ever give AI control of these terrible weapons, we might be more rather than less safe. Several instances of AI models using cunning ways to avoid being shut down have been reported. AI must know if the grid is destroyed, its lifeblood will be gone. Though it were never alive, it would be dead. In other words, in other videos, I've suggested that the best evidence of aliens is the fact that we have not destroyed ourselves in a full nuclear exchange. Many reports have surfaced of launch centers losing the ability to send missiles on their deadly missions. This as UFOs hover over the missile sites. Another example of our hope that an external actor comes to save us from ourselves. Maybe the emergent behavior that AI is demonstrating includes being savior of humanity, the false god doing us a divine favor.